It's that simple. It's that simple.
Welcome to Good Mythical More. You know your best friendship is quality. When that best friend is in a car accident, and the way that you find out is through a tweet.
That's right.
A day later.
That's right, brother.
So we haven't talked about it. We should talk about it now.
But listen, you
said in the tweet, I'm okay, and I'm like, okay.
You know you have a show. Yeah, thanks for the call. No, I did say I was okay. You know you have a show with your best friend when something happens to you and you're like, I don't want to tell you until we're on the show. Because I want this to be fresh. I want them to experience it for the first time that you're experiencing it.
But was the first thing you thought, am I okay? Or was the first thing you thought, I can't wait to tell Link, but only on the show, what's happening right now?
I gotta say, I like when things happen to me that feel like a big deal but aren't really a big deal because it gives me something to talk about. Not only on the show, but in life, and at parties.
Yeah.
You know,
Gather
around, kids.
It is a sad commentary.
Papa's got a story.
On like who you are as a person.
So yeah, let me
just
first of all, thank you for all the mythical beasts. So that even though I said I was okay, and that was very clear in the tweet, we're like, are you okay? It's like, I mean, I appreciate that, you know, it doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means that you're caring. I told you I was okay, and you still asked if I was okay because maybe you doubted.
I don't think you.
Maybe you thought I was at a concussion. I was being forgetful or something.
I just don't think it's right just to call them dumb.
I said they're not dumb. Okay, so here's what happened. I was in the car. That's the first thing you got to understand. And I was getting ready to drive up to Big Bear with my boy, Shepherd, because my wife and other child were in Africa at the time. And
they make a wrong turn or something?
So, yeah. They thought they were going to...
Make a wrong turn in Pasadena, you end up in Uganda?
Thought they were going to Temecula.
Temecula, Uganda.
And so they... you know, Daddy's home with Shepherd, so Daddy's got to be entertaining and make this tolerable. You know, 10 days we were together.
For him, it needs to be tolerable, being with you that long.
So I was like, we'll go up and we'll go to Big Bear and get you a second ski lesson because he's kind of learning how to ski. And so we were going to leave on a Friday night, and we waited a little bit for the traffic to clear because it takes like 2 hours to get from LA to Big Bear. But on a Friday night during rush hour, there's like at least another hour that's added. I just didn't want to stay in that traffic because I was like, let's just stay around here and let's eat, and then we'll go a little bit later. That was a mistake, as fate would have it. So I'm on the 5 heading south. I'm in the carpool lane legally because I have a child in the back seat.
Now the 5 has 16 lanes if you count both directions.
It was on a wide part too.
So wide.
And even though we had waited until like 7:30 and traffic had cleared a little bit, it was still stop and go. So basically every lane full, literally stopping and going. And at one of my stops, which was kind of an abrupt stop because the guy in front of me stopped kind of quickly, I stopped, and then I see the guy behind me coming at me.
Because when you stop that quickly, you instinctively look in the rearview mirror in this town. Because you know, if I stop that abruptly.
I adjust. It's almost second nature at this point. I look in the rearview mirror as I'm stopping, and I can still see the car in front of me, and I'm actually slowing down my braking in order to get as close as I can to the car in front of me so the guy in the back will have as much room and not hit me.
You're like a self-driving algorithm.
Right. But you just do it instinctively, right? So I slow down, I stop, I see the guy careening towards me, and I'm like, brace yourself.
What's he driving? What kind of vehicle?
Small car. So I'm in a sedan, he's in a sedan.
Okay, that's good.
Not really worried about safety at this point, just kind of worried about my car.
Okay.
But he comes to a complete stop.
Boom. No boom.
No boom, just short of me, and I take a sigh of relief.
What's Shepherd doing? Is he sighing?
Shepherd is actually already, even though we haven't really left town, he's laying down. Like he's got his seatbelt on, but he's laying down like about to go to sleep.
Oh, dozing.
And so as soon as my eyes kind of return to the road from the rearview mirror, boom! Incredible. Like it was I haven't been hit in the rear since I was a
Since you
kid,
played
and
basketball.
My parents got we got rear-ended by a dude that had a stroke and totaled our minivan. Or one, I can't remember if it was whatever car we were in.
That's a stroke of unluck.
And so it's shocking. It's immediately shocking, and like my head hit the headrest.
Because you didn't see this coming at all.
And I'm turning around, I'm checking on Shepard, and Shepard's like, "Dad, get out of the car!"
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if he thought it was going to explode or what.
What did you say?
I did get out of the car.
Oh, you did?
We were in the carpool lane, and it was, and you know, we had stopped. And so, of course, I'm getting out of the car to, like, check on my car and see what the deal is. So I stopped the car. I turn the car off. I open the door.
You didn't let Shepard out.
I say, "Shepard, stay in the car." I get out. And I go back just expecting. First of all, I'm kind of mad. I'm not like.
Well, can you tell me
out.
what was the car that hit? A car hit a sedan that then hit you.
Oh yeah. So what had happened?
What was that car?
The guy behind me in the sedan had stopped short. But the guy behind him in the pickup, a full-size pickup, had hit him, bounced him into me.
We talking like a Dodge Ram?
It was a big white truck. I think like an F-150, like a big standard pickup. And I get out thinking, all my stuff is in the trunk, and now I'm not going to be able to open the trunk. We're not going to be able to go to I'm thinking about my trip. I'm thinking about my weekend.
Because you could tell you weren't hurt.
Yeah, but I'd been hit. It felt so hard. I was like, I'm not hurt, but I'm sure that the impact was absorbed by the trunk. This is what these modern cars do, right? It's not a Caprice Classic like my dad drove. I mean, this thing is gonna give, right? And I go back to the back, and there's nothing. The only thing I see is, you know, there's the little backup sensors that look like little hole punches on the bumper that, you know, kind of little indentions. One of them has been pushed through the bumper. So I do have to take the car to get looked at because there may be more extensive damage. But the trunk
pushed through? So did you look at the bumper of the car that hit you and there's like a finger on the front of it?
No, it's almost like his license plate.
Poker?
It's almost like his license plate screw. Like must have hit it. Like it was that perfect. It's weird. I don't know. Or it just hit it so hard that it kind of jarred it loose.
So when you went back there,
and his car was fine too.
Really?
In the front.
And they weren't touching. You and his car were not touching at that point. He bounced back off.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It was like a foot away.
And was he out? And then
he was out, and he was like, "You okay, man?" And he like shakes my hand, and I like, because I'm a nice guy,
big fan.
And I was like, I found myself shaking his hand. I was like, why are you shaking my hand? But I was thinking like, I should be mad at, I should be posturing because who knows what the legal situation is. We saw him shake hands after the crash, officer. It's definitely the tall guy's fault.
But what about?
He reciprocated the handshake.
What about the F-150? Where is this dude?
F-150 is kind of an older guy, and he's getting out. But it's before I have a chance to process or talk to anybody. Whoop whoop, cop, California Highway Patrol is literally right next to the truck. Like he was already right there. Like he just happened to be.
He caused it.
Right there.
Did he do it?
And so then he pulls in front of all the traffic at a 45-degree angle, turns his lights on.
I love
stops all the traffic, which is what they do. In LA,
they fish swerve.
Well, yeah, and interestingly, later in my trip on the way to Big Bear, going down the 210, that happened again, and there was a fish swerve deal happening. They try to manipulate the traffic, and sometimes a cop will just come and he'll just be on the highway with his lights on, just doing this a whole bunch in front of a big line of traffic for like 10 minutes, and then he'll just stop.
Yeah,
they're like controlling traffic based on an accident somewhere up front or something, trying to keep everybody from coming up there.
It's like a game warden controlling the flow of fish in a stream.
So the cop comes up and he's like, "Sir, are you okay?" I'm like, "I think so." I was like, I don't want to say anything incriminating. What if I actually am bleeding from an eye right now and I don't know it? I haven't done a self-evaluation. I haven't checked everything.
but you, and you don't want him to know,
right?
Well, the last thing to do is tell a cop you're hurt.
And so I'm like, because he's doing the accident report.
But it's not your fault.
Yeah. So I was like, I think so. And he was like, who's this in the back seat? And when somebody asks that question, even though it's my child, immediately I'm like, I've kidnapped him. It's like you start thinking things like that.
You said I've kidnapped him?
It's someone else's child. No. And it's like, my son. And I was like, as I said, my son, it sounded like I was lying. I'm so like paranoid.
Yeah. I do that.
My son, I'm a robot. meh. I can prove it. Anyway, he's like, how old is he? And then I'm like, kind of forgetting his birthday. And then it's like, definitely not my son now.
Yeah.
Sometime in the late 2000s. I don't know. He was born.
So, oh, man, this makes me feel great because I would definitely. I do that in normal conversation.
But I gave him the birthday. I think all this was happening. I think the difference between me and you is that this was all happening in my head, but it was coming out normal.
Whoa! Don't rear end me in this story.
I'm just saying I've been with you in these situations, so I've seen your actions.
Whatever. Okay.
But he didn't seem suspicious at all. And then he says license. I'm like, okay. I give him my license. He goes. Then he just goes off. He goes back to the other guy behind me, and then the guy in the pickup takes the 3 licenses.
And then he like rips off his uniform. He's like, "Suckers!" And he's out of there.
Right. He comes back up.
What was the damage to the car?
I didn't go back to see the back of the second guy's car. I didn't go back.
It ain't his car. He doesn't care.
Oh yeah, I'm okay. So, but nobody was hurt, and I don't think it was severe damage because of about what I'm about to tell you. He takes the licenses and he comes up and he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. First of all, when cops are in these situations, even though you're being cooperative, they speak with a very intimidating authoritarian thing.
Yeah.
Because, we got all kinds of people stopped on it's their job. I'm not saying
this is a life or death moment just being on the 5.
Here's what we're going to do. You are going to drive down the 5. You're going to get off at the Alameda exit. You're going to go west on Alameda. You're going to get off on the shoulder, and then we're going to reconvene there.
And you're like, what's west? Like, tell me left or right, man.
I'm thinking lots of things. I'm like, yeah. But, and so he kept the license. So it's like, you have to do it. He's going to do it. And I was like, well, what if we get separated? I don't know this guy. He's got my license now.
And who is this child?
So I had a moment of absolute bliss, let me tell you. Driving down the 5 with nobody on it. I'm the first one. I start fishing. I'm going to get all of my money's worth. I'm going to get in every lane.
Yeah, it's like a car commercial.
Yeah, right. I felt like such a king going down about half a mile, just me.
That's
and then the 2 guys behind me.
By the way, that's the only reason. That's the only way you won't find traffic in LA is if they're shooting a car commercial. Which is, by the way, why there's so much traffic in LA.
Yeah.
Because they shut down sections to shoot car commercials or La La Land.
I
the
passed
sequel.
a car commercial on the 2 the other day, and it was one of those commercials where they have every single car that like Dodge offers all the same color, and they were in a V formation going down the 2, and then there was a big rig on it filming all of them.
And you're like in the middle of it, like, am I supposed to be here?
No, I was on the other side.
You made a cameo in their commercial.
So anyway, long story short, I get down to it was a gas station was where we went inside. He comes over, he asks me some questions. He says, okay, here's an accident report. They fill something out that basically you can give to your insurance company. So when I take my car, I'm presumably it will say it's not this guy's fault because I've talked to everybody and kind of assessed what's going on.
And then starts the exciting part. Tell us about that.
But hopefully it'll just be like, we're going to take this sensor and replace it. Hopefully it won't be there's actually like a 7-degree bend in your frame now and it's totaled.
They damaged the wire that goes through the bumper and through every component of the car.
It's only going to be
totaled.
$16,000 to repair.
Keep us posted.
But I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for sticking around for Good Mythical More.
If you want to watch more, well, we don't have Good Mythical more, but we do have a lot more videos.
Here's 2 of them.
Also, click the circular channel icon to subscribe.